Meanwhile, the Texas Supreme Court has now blocked a woman's request for emergency access to an abortion. Kate Cox sued for an emergency medical exception to the state's abortion restrictions after her fetus was diagnosed with a severe anomaly. Her doctors say the fetus had virtually no chance of survival and that the pregnancy posed a risk to her health and her fertility. Now, her lawyers say she's left the state to get the procedure. Senior national policy reporter Ann Flaherty and ABC News legal contributor Shauna Lloyd join me now for more on this. Shauna, Kate Cox's doctors said she needed this procedure and that the longer she carried this pregnancy, the more at risk her health and fertility were. So the lower court ruled in her favor. What happened at the high court to reverse that?
So what the Supreme Court found is that they are not willing to make a medical determination. They found that the lower court exceeded its power by making a medical determination about whether or not her life was in danger. They essentially are stating that it is up to the doctor to make a determination as to whether or not it's reasonably medically necessary. And they're saying that that is not what's alleged in the brief, and that the doctor only stated that it was upon her good faith belief. And they're saying that that doesn't rise to the standard. So the Supreme Court has punted this back to doctors to make that determination.
And what does this mean for legal threats against Kate Cox and also potential future cases that deal with this issue?
Well, of course, there are some counties in Texas that have tried to make it illegal to what they call abortion trafficking, so essentially trying to leave the state to get an abortion. We don't believe that she lives in one of those areas. And when we talk to the doctors, they are not, or her lawyers rather, they are not telling us where or she is when she received this procedure for obvious security reasons. But overall, this does not bode well for other women who have filed similar lawsuits. We do not, but the Texas Supreme Court has spoken. That is, they are at the end of the road. They do not believe that these women have life-threatening emergencies. They say fertility risks and fatal fetal abnormalities do not qualify under the law.
So, Shauna, let's talk about that aspect of this, because the Supreme Court is essentially saying that what her doctors did attest to doesn't meet the bar of what the law requires. So what does, and how gray is this area now?
Well, it's a very gray area, because what they're saying is that the doctor has to find that it is something that is going to be life-threatening or will cause physical impairment or severe harm. That can change from doctor to doctor. So it is something that has a very high bar. It's not medically clear as to what would fall in that threshold. And the Supreme Court sending that back to the doctors really is essentially putting doctors in the position of having to defend one should they be prosecuted. And doctors want to know what they can and cannot do, not run the risk of prosecution after attempting such a procedure.
And Shauna, today the Arizona State Supreme Court is also beginning to hear oral arguments about whether a centuries-old near-total abortion ban there will be reinstated. So what are you watching for in that case?
I'm looking to see how the court rules, how narrow or how broad they make this determination, and whether or not there are any modifications, because that's going to be very important to the women in that state so they understand what rights they do have available.
All right, and Flaherty, Shauna Lloyd, thank you both.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.